Hello, and welcome. Welcome once again to the Secrets of the High Demand Coach podcast. And I am here with yet another high demand coach and one who is sure to fascinate you. It is the one and only Justin Breen. Now, he's the founder and CEO of the exclusive connectivity platform EpicFit Network. His newest book, Epic Life: How to Build Collaborative Global Companies While Putting Your Loved Ones First, features a foreword from Dr. Peter Diamandis and has been the #1 overall book for sales on Amazon Kindle. It also recently made the Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller list. And I have to admit, I've been excited about this conversation. Justin, we met, it feels like months ago, I think it was. And it's just a fascinating conversation. Everything from what I learned from you to what I even learned from your kids. It was just cool. And so the idea of getting you on the show just seemed like an obvious and natural fit. And I'd love to kind of dive in, explore a little of what we talked about in the past. I know it's a big part of you and how you orient your life, but really take a look at some of the ideas from your book as well. So before we get started, I'm wondering, what would you say some of the most important work you do today?
Well, very grateful to be here. I look at work as a human construct, and then every other animal just does what they're supposed to do. They're just being. So none of what I don't really consider anything that I do as work. It's just a pure purpose. So I just spend time with my family or connect visionaries to serve humanity. Never get tired of it, ever.
Yeah. And so what was the idea behind the book? Was this something that you had planned for a really long time? Is it something you had always dreamt of doing? Why write the book Epic Life?
Yeah. So I don't believe in randomness, or things are just meant to be how they're meant to be through timing. So I just actually finished third book, which is called Epic Journey, and Epic Life was second book, and I just everything to me is based on pure gut intuition, and then when you spend your entire day talking to world's top visionaries, or those that will do whatever it takes to become that person, they say things or they feel things that are just so profound, and then I have an ability to collect them or write them down, and then I can simplify it into a story or a book or a message like this. So it's just pure connection. So that's how my brain and heart work. So to create books out of that is a natural extension of my purpose in life.
Mm-hmm. And as you were sitting down, what was it that pulled? There's 30 transformational ideas. What was it that pulled them together into one piece of art, if you will? What was the resounding theme that you wanted readers to get out of the book?
Well, out of that book. It's a good question. Out of that book, talk to 1 to 2 visionaries every single week that have let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevent them from having a family. Mm-hmm. And this will be in the third book. It's not in the second, but it all ties together. So the word business literally comes from the word bisignis, which means anxiety. So literally so when people start talking about business or scaling their business or business coach or whatever, it's anxiety coach, scaling anxiety. So I guess technically I have co-founded 2 businesses, but they're really not. They're just more companies based on purpose. And then the byproduct is they scale and they're profitable, but it has nothing to do with business, really. It has to do with purpose. So with the second book, when you talk to 1 to 2 people every single week that have let this life destroy their family or prevented them from having a family, that's not a good idea. I don't think it is. So write a book about people that haven't done that, or who have done that and what they wish they hadn't done. So that's really what that book's about.
One of the things that you seem to have a knack for is pattern recognition. And so what would you say if you were to kind of split those into two groups? Those who have, I guess there would be three technically, those who have let the entrepreneurial journey, the business journey destroy their family, and those who haven't.
Mm.
I guess there's some who've done both, but what are the characteristics that you find in group A, those who haven't, that you don't find in group B, those who have let it destroy their family?
Yeah. Narcissism. Yeah. Narcissism. The ones that care more about themselves in this lifetime as opposed to looking past their own life, their own body life. Narcissism. Yeah. And true visionary looks well past their own lifetime. I don't know. Again, when you just talk to a certain type of person over and over, you can see the differences between the ones that really just care about money, which is fine, by the way. It's fine. But then you can see the rare ones that have a higher calling. They're almost commanded. Well, no, they're not almost commanded. They're commanded to do something that they don't even necessarily understand, but they do it anyway. They do it anyway to benefit the world. My favorite, I guess, story with that, and this is in the third book, but our company, it's actually called EpicFit Network now, which is funny. It's not Epic Network anymore, but it's funny. But the one of the chapters is called Adult Kindergarten. That's really what our company is. It's just little kids who are adults playing around and having fun. But the actual kindergarten was invented in Germany, Prussia in the 1800s, and then the German-Prussian government banned kindergarten. They banned kindergarten the year before the inventor of kindergarten died, and the inventor begged the Prussian king, like, please don't ban kindergarten, please don't do that, kids need this or whatever. But it went against the church. It was too secular. And so then after he died, the inventor, they unbanned it, and then one of his distant relatives was running one of the schools he originally started. So like that's how I look at as a true visionary, someone who looks far beyond their own lifetime.
Yeah. So you've got a few principles kind of the middle of the book that I found showed up a lot whenever we had a conversation when we first met. And the first one was to avoid boring people. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? And why is it so important?
Well, I don't. So like, our sons are they're both very good athletes. They're 11 and 10, and then so they have like youth baseball and youth soccer and flag football. And so you go out into that world, and then you have the same conversation over and over about the weather or how your kid is doing, or complaining about the coaches or the umpires, and it's actually exhausting. It's exhausting for me. But so like I base not boring people on doing the opposite of those conversations with the people I talk to when I'm not at youth sporting events. When I was in 1999, I had just graduated college and was covering a Notre Dame USC college football game in the press box. I was a journalist then, and ran into Skip Bayless. So at the time, he was the top sports columnist at the Chicago Tribune. He's now on national television sports commentary. And so I'm like, hey, can I send you some of my columns or whatever to look at? And he said, sure. And then he looked at them, and then a day or two later, he called me. And essentially he said, the main role of a reporter or a journalist, or basically anyone, I think, to answer your question, is to inform and entertain. Inform and entertain. So you inform people of certain things, and then you make that information entertaining. And I think that's the key to life, and then not boring people, because you say something that's interesting, and then you make it interesting with how you say it. I've found that the right visionaries or people who understand what I'm saying, they really enjoy that. And then me personally, I'm not bored either. I don't want to bore myself. because that wouldn't be good. I would get bored easily. So to inform and entertain and make things not boring, I think is an important key to life.
Yeah, you also recommended avoiding time vampires. What are time vampires?
Well, it's an interesting thing. I'm 47 now. When we last talked, I was 46. And it really took 47 years. And then success is progressive realization of a worthy ideal, Earl Nightingale. So you just keep getting better at, connecting visionaries to serve humanity. But one of the really key learnings, and there's nothing right or wrong with this, but most people, they talk and they talk and they talk and they talk and they say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Overwhelming majority of society talks and doesn't actually follow through or do anything with it. They just talk. And that's a true time vampire, someone who just talks with no action or no investment or no connection. It's not narcissism, it's just a lack of commitment to themselves. And me personally, I can't help someone who can't help themselves. The key to life is helping. If you can't help yourself, how are you supposed to help others? So where I see it is in this world, not as much anymore, but I used to. You have people that quote unquote talk about coaching or whatever that term is, but they're not coaching themselves. They're not investing in themselves. They're not so it's like, it's the ultimate hypocrisy, I think. There's a lot of folks in that space that are like that. They talk about things and then they don't raise their own investment rates, or they offer these free things forever, which is just a sales funnel, and sale means dull and dirty. That's what the word actually means. And it's kind of sad to me because it's people who don't believe in themselves asking others to believe in them. And I'm like, well, why would anyone believe in you if you don't even believe in yourself? Yeah. So that's the time vampire. They're actually wasting their own time with their own lack of belief in themselves.
I think what's hard about that group is that there is a part of them that wants change. Like,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's not a narcissism. So there's almost this feeling like you feel for them, right? If they were just jerks, it'd be easier to write them off. But there's this heartthrob, sad story behind it, and it kind of woos you in and can pull you into their own thing. Why? What is the impact of giving time vampires your time? Does it have a trickle effect? It's not like this, but is it contagious, right? Can it shape the way that you think?
Well, if you had asked me that 5 years ago, I would have had a different answer. I essentially ignore that now. But you have to learn, like you have to, like the first, I guess, quote unquote, networking group I joined was $250 a year. And then there was 500, then there was 1,000, there was 2,000, and there was 5,000, there was 10,000 a year, then there's 25,000 a year. And then with our company, it started at 10,000, then it went up to 15,000. We just raised it to 25,000 because our own members asked us to raise. Our own members asked us to raise the investment. Probably because they don't want to deal with time vampires. They want people who take action. But that's the trickle down effect is like attracts like and dislike attracts dislike. And so for whatever it's worth, talk is meaningless to me without an answer. So we're about to be named one of the top 5 masterminds on the planet by a magazine that's in first class airport lounges and private airports. We have our own TV channel now with 30 million reach. We're about to be on Apple TV and Roku. I don't even know what that means. We have our own MBA program affiliated with Oxford. We have a philanthropic wings now. We have our own app. So like that's all a byproduct of ignoring time vampires and then raising investment, because that one eliminates time vampires and attracts people that want to take action and make investment, and those people want to hang out with people that take action and make investments. So, but again, it all goes back to the beginning, is believing in yourself. You can't, I mean, you can, but I can't ask someone to believe in me if I don't believe in myself. And I know at the very highest level, my confidence in myself is off the charts, no matter what. It's an unbreakable vision. It's malleable, but it's unbreakable. Can't be broken. And a true visionary can never be broken, ever. Yeah.
One more question here, and then I'm going to shift gears up for us a little bit. But one of the things that a big point that you make in the book is this idea that mediocre people don't like high achievers don't like mediocre people. And it kind of sums up so much of what we're talking about here.
Right.
But if we have someone who's sitting and they're just kind of taking inventory of their life and relationships, they're at the beginning part of this journey, what would you encourage them to do? What are some of the first steps they can take toward moving toward a better network with high achievers to spur them on?
Write the check. Yeah. Write the check. Yeah. So again, most people make excuses their whole life. They're not willing to. I mean, that's most of the world. If most of the world was born top visionary on planet, then most of the world would do that. But most of the world makes excuses their whole life. My father was 61 when I was born. He'd be 108 now. World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute. He'd get back into a plane. In the third book I just finished, this is graphic. There's a diet graphic for those listening, watching. But so he watched his best friend, good soldier friend, killed in a plane crash. His friend's face melted off. His legs were burnt off. And then 20 minutes later, the commanding officer asked my dad and his soldier friend to go on a bombing mission. So he said, okay. So most people aren't, well, that's what it is. You either can do that or you can't. So, and that's the way I look at decisions in life. Most people don't look at it like that. They're worried about investing another $500. But a true visionary, that is the heart and mindset that they have. They will do whatever it takes. No excuses ever. And then many times the follow-up question I get to this is like, well, what about other people? I go, no. I connect visionaries to serve humanity. So if there are 1,000 people listening to this and only one understands it, that's all that matters to me, because that person will help the other 999, even though the other 999 don't even know they're being helped. But my entire focus is on the 1 out of 1,000 that will do whatever it takes to help the others.
Amazing. Justin, I've got one more question for you, and then we'll make sure folks know how they can get connected with you and the network if they're a fit. And that question is this: what is the biggest secret you wish wasn't a secret at all? What's that one thing that you wish everybody watching or listening knew?
Oh, well, it's interesting, the word secret. With this book I just finished, I can't reveal it yet, but like the person writing the foreword, it's a very big deal, and it will be marketed heavily. And I mean, the book will change the world, because I risked everything and then put pure love and intuition on it. Okay, pure love. So the reason I mention that is because I've just been sending the book to people. There's no, like, I don't care about it, whatever it sells. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So, like, I don't even like the word secret. Like, to me, that's a competitive word, with like people that need trademarks or whatever. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. At the highest level, there is no competition, only collaboration. There are no secrets. So everything, that I've written in that, in the newest book, like, I'll gladly share that. I think maybe that's the biggest secret, is that there are no secrets for the greatest visionary. Are no secrets. Why would you hide anything that would help humanity? I mean, again, a true visionary would never do that. A narcissist pretending to be a visionary would, or they would try to kill the competition, but not a true visionary. They would, the person who invented kindergarten wouldn't try to hide. I mean, I don't think he would. He wouldn't try to hide that from. In fact, he begged the king to please reinstate kindergarten. So, I guess that's the secret, is that at the highest level there are no secrets. So, good question by you.
Fantastic. Well, there's some folks listening to this, and as you mentioned, what you're saying is resonating with them at a level that they're not even sure they've quite figured out yet. How can they learn more about you or take the next step as a visionary in their life?
The website is theepicfit.com, theepicfit.com.
Fantastic. We'll get that in the show notes for everybody. Go ahead and check it out. Well, Justin, thank you so much for being on the show. Just an honor and privilege having you here with us today. And for those of you watching and listening, you know your time and attention mean the world to us. I hope you got as much out of this conversation as I know I did, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Take care.